Okay. I've got a weird line going on there. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know why the green line is around this thing. Anyway, so some interesting stuff going on over on Twitter, x.com. Yeah, yeah. Nothing unusual there, right? Uh-huh. So, how you been today? Just remember that you control the peace and joy that you walk through and the valleys that you walk through, the mountains you climb. It's all in your hands. You control it all. And how you deal with that is entirely up to you. So, with that in mind, I just want to do this really quick little scene. It's from the Gilded Age. It's kind of an AI generated Gilded Age collage.
We must not repeat the mistakes of the past.
I'm learning AI stuff, trying to figure out how to use it and all of that because, it's the up and coming thing and I've got to stay on top of it. That's just the way it is. I've got kids and grandkids and I'm sure they know a whole heck of a lot more. I hope they do than I do. But I'm trying to keep up with it, because it keeps my mind challenged. I do different word puzzles and all kinds of stuff like that. And today I went out and drove around. I had to go back out into town and I did some little video clips and things from being out going down through Hardy. And I was behind a paint truck putting two yellow stripes down the center of the road. So you know how that process goes? It goes really slowly. Let me pull myself back up here and you can see me on the main part of the screen anyway. So I don't know what the green box is. Anyway. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of that thing right there. Oh, there it is. I got it. I figured it out now. There we go. I was trying to customize the screen. I forgot to turn off the customization. Anyway, so several things are taking place over on X I wanted to talk about. First and foremost, this is the priority that I have with everything that I'm doing. Just so you know, this Veterans Serve for all Americans, even the ones that some of you don't like, even the ones some of you think that you should marginalize and not account for. And I'll get into this in just a second with this. This is a screenshot from something that's taking place over on Twitter. I'm the one that says Cassandra 313-84475. Well, that's me. And Carmen San Diego is Christ Cannot, I believe. Yeah, Christ Cannot. And another person in there is J.E. And J.E. is, let me see, there's nothing about the profile. It just says nice. Nice. So anyway, we'd started this conversation about VA care and how some of us are feeling a lot of trepidation about going into the VA now, whereas before we weren't. And this person, J.E., starts this line of conversations down here. And it goes down further than this, but I just want to start at the bottom and kind of work to the top, because down at the bottom is the one that says 2 hours ago, J.E., 2 hours ago. Just look at that one part. True conservatives don't double down on services. No one does. You really shouldn't anyway. There are people who double dip, that's for sure. I do know that the VA and Medicaid are being double billed, but that's primarily through the doctors and the system that's set up. They'll bill one and then bill the other. They get double the money. I believe, and I hope that the VA is going after that because that double billing from the providers is not right. However, that's not what this person's really talking about. True conservatives help everyone under one umbrella. Now, let me tell you something about that umbrella you're talking about there, J.E. If you're watching, if you're listening to this, for one thing is that's a very Pollyannish statement because it assumes that everyone is just alike. It assumes that the care that different people require is the same. that assumes that the way people experience healthcare, the way people actually need services through the VA or any medical provider, really, that statement, true conservatives help everyone under one umbrella. I mean, pat yourself on the back, that's utopian. That is truly a utopian statement. It is not true. To point blank, it is not true. That's not the way this stuff works, folks. We know, and we've known for decades that different populations get different levels and quality of care. We've known that. We've got the proof for it. And those communities have got the proof for it as well. So, J.E., whenever you talk like that, you sound like you absolutely don't know shit, to put it bluntly. And so all you have to do is just look at any of the studies that have to do with socioeconomic impact for healthcare, and you're going to say socioeconomic stuff. Well, that's exactly what it is. You deny the fact that these things are happening, that these people do get care at a different quality and level, and the history shows it. The science and the data collection shows it. Black people, Black Americans. I know the level of service is improving dramatically. I get it. But it hasn't always been that way. And there's still holdovers from some of that stuff in some of these communities, like way down in Alabama. I know, I lived down there a while. I know what that's about down there. Yeah, I sure do. I do know that some of the care that these different racial minority populations receive down there is less than the white population. They won't tell you that. They won't admit it, but the studies and the data show it to be the case. Healthcare needs are just a little bit different for certain things. LGBT people, let's just say transgender people, they require a different type and process of care that the VA was working to accommodate, was working to make happen. But with this new administration, they want to throw it all under one umbrella and say, we take care of all veterans. But what they mean is, as long as they don't look like or sound like or believe like or love like those people over there. Right, J.E., there's a big difference. There's a huge difference here in the quality of care and the care that people should be getting. We've known it for years, decades even. We've known these things, but you can't deny, you can't lump everything under some kind of utopian umbrella and say, hey, we provide this level of care. It doesn't matter who you are, whatever. We don't care about whatever conditions that may be endemic or specific to your particular population. We don't care about any of that thing. We don't care about, as you said up here somewhere else, probably not in that one. Let me see. Okay. I saw it just a second ago. I just thought that was so dumb. Oh, there it is. Here it is. It says, J.E. says further over here. I'm looking at it over on the X site. Please stop talking about marginalized minority and the alphabet soup letter bullshit. Yes, veterans commit suicide, but it doesn't have to do with being marginalized. J.E., that is the dumbest stuff ever. Yes, it does. There's a large percentage. As a matter of fact, the rate of suicides for LGBT people and trans people is 3 to 4 times higher than for their cis veteran siblings. It's worse for them. The level per 100,000 veterans or whatever, ever how that particular the population demographic is calculated, or population statistic is calculated, that number is higher. Just like the number is higher for all veterans compared to the civilian population. There are more people. The rate of suicides for veterans is higher than the civilian population. So what you're saying, JE, is that we should apply the same standard across civilian and veteran populations because, they're all under one umbrella and we shouldn't be worried about that, right? You know how wrong that is? We know that the suicide rate for veterans is higher. But yet, you want to throw everybody's underneath that umbrella for suicide prevention, health care, everything else. And we know that if it applies there in that suicide rate, then it also applies across the board for everything else. Unless, of course, you're one of those true conservatives that just have this utopian view of healthcare systems and mental well-being of the whole country. You think that the VA system ought to treat people like the U.S. treats its civilian population? You think that the healthcare requirements is no different? We already know this. 16 to 17 veterans kill themselves every day. Every day. And that number, by the way, is significantly higher than the civilian population, using the population statistic to calculate it. It's the same thing that you're talking about right over. You can't put everybody under that umbrella, JE. It doesn't work that way. You want to talk about that? Well, I'm going to talk about it too. Carmen up here is a veteran. Carmen San Diego is a veteran. So this next line up is, what do you know about veterans? Conservatives believe in paying back those that sacrifice so much for this nation, either with increases in services, increase in disability payments, access to more hospital services, through a network of affiliated providers. JE, I'm going to tell you, you must be reading off some kind of script right straight out of Secretary Collins's office. That's all I can see. That's what I see right there. I see you're reading out of Secretary Collins's playbook. Okay? And it's disgusting because what do we know about being... Are you a veteran, JE? You don't have anything in your bio about anything like that. Are you a veteran? Carmen and I are. Many others are. But you want to belittle us. What do you know about veterans? Oh my God. Conservatives believe in paying back those that sacrifice so much for this nation. So I'm going to take that statement alone to mean that you're probably most likely not a veteran, that you don't know squat about what it means to serve this nation at all. Either with increased services, an affiliated network of affiliated providers. That line right there comes right straight out of the mouth of Doug Collins. Oh my God. Come on. And Carmen actually responded the way I would have responded. No. I would have gone a little bit deeper into that one. What do you know about veterans up here at the top? None, because have never gone through the process of a veteran system. JE doesn't know squat about being a veteran or a service member. Who's the dishonest speaking about that don't anything about? JE is probably just one of these bots from Russia sitting in some place in St. Petersburg. Is that where you're from, JE? St. Petersburg? You've got this image of a king over here on your, as a little image for yourself, an avatar for yourself. I'm going to say JE is just a bot. That's what I think. Because the way that's written, the way that whole thing is written, there's no way that you know anything about what it means to be a veteran in the United States. The whole thing is worded incorrectly. It's just a jumble of words that you hope make sense. So I suggest, JE, you back off. because those of us who have served the United States military know that there are disparities of health care between different economic and social groups here in the United States. And there's going to be conservatives who say, no, that's not the case. Yes, it is the case. You got your head stuck in the sand about 2 feet. And you can't even pull it back out. Okay. Now back to the joyful part. Let me go through this once more time. I got to take it away.
We must not repeat the mistakes of the past.
You hear that? Oh my gosh. The way I find the peace and joy and the path forward through all of this stuff is, one, I can get out of the house. And I'm surrounded by people who support and defend Trump and all the policies and everything that he does and every action that's taken. And that's fine. I'm good with that. That's what they support. That's what they believe. That's what I will defend them to the end of the earth to have those beliefs. I will not belittle them in any way because of that. As a matter of fact, I'll even go out, and I've done it, even go out and pick up a few merch items from the Trump Superstore down in, I was driving out back home from Texas back in May, and I came out, I came up 75 from Knoxville because I dropped my daughter off down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Came up 75 toward Knoxville. You get on the I-40 right there where 75 and I-40 come together. We're right at that intersection there, coming east over on the left side of the road. There's a Trump Superstore, and that's all they sell is Trump merch. Well, except for a few things that have to do with the military. I got a couple of magnets while I was in there. I loved walking in there. I had so much fun walking in that store. Oh my God, I had my camera going, and I'm recording stuff going through there, and it was a blast. I was completely surrounded by everything Trump. And it was funny. It was really funny. And I'm talking and carrying on. The owner was there. There's a person behind the counter. I knew the person was the owner by the way they were walking through the store and all that kind of stuff. You can tell. You can tell who owns the place and who's working there. Well, usually the workers are like trying to hold their words back. Yeah. But customers came in, and I'm talking just like this right here, and I'm talking to everybody, and it was so much fun to go through there and say, I got to get this for my sister, and this for my brother, and this for my other sister, and I got to think about these other people in the family, and I know all of them voted for Trump, and all of them believe every word he says, mostly. I should put a caveat there. They believe him more than they believe anybody else, which, that's fine. That's fine. And as I said a minute ago, I serve for all Americans. See this right here? I serve for all Americans. Whether they agree with me or not, I still serve with them. It would be good. It would be cool. It would be cool if the correct name was used. My legal name was used a lot. And the way I like to present it is this. Okay, so I ask people, who's the vice president of the United States? Right now, who is the vice president of the United States? Do you know who it is? And you're going, that's J.D. Vance, of course. Don't you know that? And I said, yeah, I know it's J.D. Vance, but did you know that is not his birth name? Yeah, that's not his birth name, folks. He legally changed it. And there was Bowman before, if you didn't know. It's J.D. Bowman. But he didn't like his Bowman side of the family, so he took on the name of his grandmother. And by the way, if anyone from the Trump administration or Vance's team are in here looking around or whatever, and you come across this, yeah, we're related. The Vance family, oh yeah, they're all over Mingo County, West Virginia, and Pike County, Kentucky, and Logan County, Wayne County, and over in West Virginia. Your family's tied up in my family. I'm going to tell you, there are no, if you're from around here, you've got connections around here, there are no family trees, people. There are totem poles. But probably a better description, you know what a witch's nest is? it's like a witch's broom. That sometimes where two trees come together and in between them they create this thing that looks like a broom, or sometimes it can be like a nest, a mesh of the two trees are all tied up in a big knot together. Some people call that a witch's nest or a witch's broom. That's what family trees are like around here. The trees went. That is so true. I'm just going to use the witch's nest as a way to talk about that from now on. So what's the path forward? How do we deal with all of this stuff? Well, for one thing, you're not going to change a lot of behaviors. The way to change it is to live your life openly and honestly where you are. Don't be a butthole about it every time you go out the door and try to address someone or then have them address you. Don't do it. Just be a decent human being. Love your neighbor as yourself. Let's be the model. Let's be the model that we expect others to follow and copy. We want to be the ones, if you believe or not, it doesn't matter, but just read the red letters in the New Testament Bible. Go in there and read those red letters. And let's be the people who follow that and not Exodus. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow around noon-ish, somewhere around